Hey team, I'm Coach Damien from Meet the Frog Fitness, and I'm here with my best friend Odile. And for this video, we're going to talk about a little bit about how to actually use your core when doing ab work, rather than using those other muscles that like to take over, like your hip flexors and things like that. I'll let Odile tell a little bit about herself, and then we'll get right into the video.
Hi everybody, my name is Odile Zelenak, and I am a movement specialist. I use Pilates and gyrotonic and yoga and orthopedic massage to help my clients get deeper into their body and to actually access muscles that they are looking to find, and or release muscles that have so much tension that it's hard to find the other muscles and it causes them pain. Sometimes it's through movement, sometimes it's through touch. But today, and right now during this time, there is no touching. So we are keeping our distance, and I'm going to talk you through activating your muscles that live in your abdomen when you're doing your abdominal workouts rather than the quads. So many people complain that when they're doing their abdominal exercises, whether it's crunches, whether it's leg lowers, whatever it may be, that they feel it too much in their quadriceps and not enough in their abs. So we're going to get started on it.
Awesome. And she's one of the smartest people I know in the fitness space, so this is who I learned from, so I'm really excited to learn about this.
Thanks, Damien.
Of course.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So the reason that we have the towel at Damien's back is because we want to really activate the muscles that live deep to the abdomen, actually, and into the abdomen. They start at the back of the ribs, so Damien's going to turn. They start here, right at the back of the ribs, and go ahead and hold that towel. Social distancing here. Okay. And those muscles kind of dive down, they go all the way down, and then Damien's going to turn, and they end right at the inner thigh, up as high into the thigh as possible, just below the pubic bone. So that whole muscle complex is the one we're trying to access, not the ones on the side of the hips. These are the ones that actually pull us out of our core, and those are the muscles that end up wreaking havoc on our low back as well.
Is that what people are over-dominant in already?
Typically, yeah. Most of us, because we sit for hours at a time, we don't get a chance to get up and stretch as often as we do. We don't do a lot of back bends. We don't live a life where most of us don't walk backwards. We don't do things that really open that up innately and intuitively. And so those muscles become short and tight, and they need to be, because they are very large muscles, to make us move, to mobilize us, to have us be able to sit down, stand up, and squats. But if we over-shorten those muscles, then it's really, really difficult to access the abdominal muscles, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So if you could grab like a gym-sized towel or slightly larger, that might be really beneficial to use as a prop and a stretching tool. So the first thing that we're going to do is ask Damien to bring his legs into tabletop. So a tabletop is defined by the femur, the thigh bone, being situated precisely into the hip cup at a 90-degree angle, because gravity likes that angle. Your muscles don't have to work so hard. The shin bone then is also at a 90-degree angle in terms of the knee and the ankle. So Damien's in perfect position, yep. And I am very persnickety about thighs together. So you're accessing the muscles of your inner thighs, which actually are part of that abdominal complex, believe it or not. So the first thing Damien is going to do is he's going to put his hands at the front of his thighs. How you doing, Damien?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Putting his hands at the front of his thighs, and he's going to push his hands against his thighs. And then Damien's going to tell me, do you feel your abs or do you feel your quads?
I feel right here.
Okay.
Yes.
Really good. So Damien is special because most people will say, I'm feeling it in my quads.
I do feel it a little bit there, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so then bring it down again. Bring your legs down, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have Damien pay attention to very specific parts of the body. So Damien is pretty core connected, so there isn't a ton of extra cueing that I would need to do for him specifically. However, he is a really great body because you can see the specifics of things as they show up. So you're going to take your towel, and it's folded, if it was like this, in half and then in quarter.
Double
right?
hot dog.
Double hot dog, there you go. And it's going to actually go right behind his belly button, kind of where the bottom of the rib cage and the belly button meet. So right in that spot. It's not at the biggest arch of your back, which tends to be a little bit lower, okay?
Awesome.
So the muscle that we're working is called the psoas. I like using muscle terms, but that kind of doesn't always translate for people, so go ahead and let the towel go. So just so you know, that is the muscle we're working. All right, the top of the psoas is right where the towel is for Damien. I should not be able to move this towel, okay? But in order for Damien to keep himself here, he tucked his pelvis. I don't want Damien to tuck his pelvis. What I want Damien to do is to press his ribs back using his obliques. Okay, then he's going to lengthen his pelvis and spine so he's not in a tucked position but able to get into the towel. So as best as you can do that, that is what you want to do. Okay, then Damien's going to bring up his right leg, just his right leg, and move it into the midline. So the psoas starts at the back, actually in the back of the ribs, and it dives forward, goes all the way across the front of those hips. Not these side guys, but inside the hips, closest to the belly button, all the way down to the pubic bone. So the more he can get his thigh into the middle, the midline, the more he can access that psoas. Now he's going to put his right hand at the front of his right thigh, and he's going to push against his thigh while pulling his thigh into his hand. So I'm using the word thigh, but what he should be feeling, especially if he's pressing back against the towel, is his abdomen on that right side. That's right, especially, right? Yep. Okay, so then he's gonna bring that down. And then change. Now he's gonna bring up his left leg. Good, he remembered to come into the midline. Yep, that's the psoas connecting. So he's got the back ribs, feeling the abdominals all the way to that inner thigh and pressing again. Good, and then bring that down. Nice.
If you're shaking, you're probably doing it right.
That's right, that's very true. Okay, so now Damien is gonna bring his right and left leg up again. Good, squeeze his thighs together, of course. And feel connected against the back where the towel is. So I should be able to pull on this towel and the towel does not move. He should feel the abdominals engaging, and now the effort is less in his thighs and more in his abdomen. Now from this position, Damien is going to interlace his fingers at the base of the skull, and he's going to inhale into his side and back ribs, and instead of just popping up with his head, he's going to anchor right where that towel is, and then curl up just into a low curl. He doesn't have to come really high, but really putting attention where that towel is and squeezing those inner thighs links the upper to the lower, and that's the most important part. And then lie back down with a sense of lengthening, not plopping, right? Inhale. Exhale, so anchor the ribs, connecting the top of the psoas through the center of the psoas all the way down to the inner abdominals, and then coming all the way back down.
So almost like I'm imagining laying one vertebra at a time on the way back, and a very small movement bringing my rib cage to my hips on the way up.
That's right.
I have really strong abs, and I'm shaking after one crunch, so that's saying something.
Okay, so just pause for a sec. Damien's gonna bring his legs down. Now if you have really tight hip flexors, and let's say Damien said, oh my gosh, that was great, but all I really felt, if I'm gonna be truthful, is 60–70% thighs, not as much abs. So then what you need to do is stretch. So if you're not stretching, those muscles, those quad muscles are gonna always take over because they're so used to doing all the work. So the stretches I recommend, Damien's gonna roll on up, beautiful, okay? And he's gonna come first onto all fours in a quadruped position. So a simple stretch, a runner's lunge. He's gonna stretch his right leg back, with those toes back, and then he's going to bring that left foot forward into the space between his hands. Now this stretch is a pretty advanced stretch. Not everybody can do this stretch with a lot of comfort. So if you're feeling discomfort in the front of your thighs, that's totally normal. If you're also feeling hamstring stretch on that left leg, that's totally normal too. The effect that we're going for is for Damien to reach his heel backwards, not try to come up on his tippy toes, but really stretch the heel back and get the hips and pelvis to come down into a long neutral alignment. All right, and then you would stay and breathe here for about 3 or 4 big breaths and really energize the heel all the way to the back wall and the crown of the head all the way to the front wall. That's it. Good. Okay? And then you would change legs. Let me give you a variation if you can't do that way. So you're going to lie on your back. So David's going to flip over. Let's do the other leg since he's already stretched out that right side. So he's going to hug now his right knee into his chest. Same intention. The heel really stretches the front of the hip flexor. So anytime you have an opportunity to open up the front of the hip, you want to reach through your heel bone as much as you can. You can see Damien is pressing his thigh bone, his femur, down into the mat using glutes, the other muscle group that stretches the hip flexors are the glutes. So when you squeeze your glute, it's going to open up the front of that hip. Just that alone will give you a really awesome stretch, and then you're ready to go again for those ab exercises.
Love it.
So I'm so excited Damien was able to come and join me here at my new studio space, Pilates and Gyrotonic and Orthopedic Massage Studio. It's called Odile Movement and Bodywork. You can find me online at that website, odilemovement.com. And so if you are looking for Pilates, if you're looking to regain muscle balance, if you're looking for body work and integration, especially pre and post injury, I have a lot of tools and a lot of modalities to help you get back into your workouts in a way that you can really drop into more power and less discomfort. And that's a huge intention and goal of mine.
Thanks again for tuning in, team. I'll make sure I tag Odile in the video. Reach out if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.